Welcome to Banquette Breakdown.
I'm Jack.
I'm Sarah.
And we break down fictional relationships so you don't have to. Welcome back to Banquette Breakdown. We are very excited about today's episode because we have a guest for the very first time.
Woo! Welcome to the podcast. This is Hannah. This is my lovely sister-in-law, and we brought her in because she is going to offer her feedback on what we're talking about today, which is Friends. So we are diving in to Friends and that TV show and the different relationships. And I know that Hannah loves the show, and her and I both love it. So we're really excited to talk about that. Welcome here. We're so glad you're here.
Thanks. I'm so happy to be here. This is like something where I actually have a lot to say. So
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
I'll bring in
so
my
great.
knowledge. Where I
Yes,
can.
yes, bring in your wisdom. Awesome. Okay, but before we get into it, what is the sip, guys? We did a special sip today.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, thank you, Jack.
You're welcome. Yeah, because we're having our first guest today, which is so
You're welcome.
exciting.
Yes, it's because of you. This wouldn't be happening if you were
You
here.
don't get special treatments. No, just kidding.
Thank you.
Yeah. But today I've got a decaf
Yes.
iced white mocha.
Okay, nice.
Have to do decaf. Can't
Yes.
handle caffeine,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
we've discussed.
Fair enough.
yeah,
I like
that's what I've
the
got.
white chocolate mocha. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. Han, what do you have?
I have an iced matcha. So I'm like a
Nice.
cow, I guess, and I like the grass. I don't think it tastes like grass, but
Does matcha actually taste good?
I
You
love
like
it. I love
Okay.
it. I bought matcha powder from Costco, like a
Yeah.
huge pack. I love it. I don't drink it like every day,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's like a refreshing drink. So.
Yeah. It's interesting because, like, I really like this iced peach matcha bubbly drink at Station Coffee House. And yeah, it's one of my favorite drinks. But I don't taste the matcha at all. Like, it just tastes like a peach, like, sparkling water or whatever. So as a coffee, I'm always like, would I like that? I don't know. I might have to try it one time.
Yeah.
It's really good. I think you can also tell based on the color how strong it's going to be. Because sometimes you can make it white, but some people still think it's like too strong. But I mean, this
Okay.
one's kind of like pretty dark, but I like it.
But it's
so.
good. Yeah. Maybe I'll have to try it one day.
Yeah, I actually do like matcha,
Yeah.
but it's caffeinated, and I can no longer
Right.
drink caffeine.
Right.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
When I worked as a barista,
You would
I had
have
a lot of
those.
matchas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're really yummy.
Preferably
Nice.
iced.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never really had, but I'm not a big like hot drink person, so I
Yeah.
probably wouldn't do it hot. But I feel like the flavor would probably come out more.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah,
it's
it
me
did.
just being like uncultured.
If
Okay,
it's,
yeah.
I think
So-
yeah, if it's hot.
yeah, which kind of makes sense, but
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going with the iced drink theme too, and I'm drinking an iced oat milk latte.
With real
With
oat milk this
real
time.
oat milk. Okay, the last time I went to Starbucks was when I was getting you a Starbucks.
Yep.
And she passes me the drink and she's like, here's your iced oat latte. And actually says oat latte. And so then I'm like, yeah, it's oat milk. And then I'm drinking it. I'm like, it tastes a little like okay. And get to your house and probably about halfway finished.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nope, this is not oat milk.
Nope.
And I checked the sticker. No oat milk was on the sticker. Which really sucks because she said
Yeah.
it. So she knew what I had ordered, but she just didn't put it in the, But anyways, Starbucks, we still love you. And if you would
Yes.
like to sponsor this podcast, that would be great.
Okay.
I think we're ready to dive in.
Yeah, let's dive in.
Yeah.
So today, the way it's kind of going to work is that I'm going to be asking some questions to our resident Friends experts. One of the reasons we wanted a guest today is because I've only watched Friends once all the way through, and I did like it, but it's not one I've gone back to, and it's been a long time since I've watched it. So we figured we need another opinion, because mine is probably, not relevant. So I've got some questions here.
Yes.
Which
Go ahead. I was going to say, I'm really excited about this because we've never really talked about Friends.
no.
And so I just know that you like the TV show, but we haven't really ever watched it together or talked about it. So this is going to be really fun because I feel like with you, most of the things that we talk about, we've already kind of discussed some of our opinions, some of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like, I have no idea what Hannah's going to think about my thoughts.
All I'm gonna say is that my opinions are all right.
Yeah, I was going to.
I'll just throw it out there. I'm not up for debate. In the comments,
you're not up.
nothing like that.
You're
It's
not up for
my
debate.
way or the highway.
So don't comment. No.
Yeah, actually, I think we should just turn them off because it's gonna be pointless anyways. But
Yeah, no one else's opinion matters.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How
Hannah
many,
has spoken.
how many times have you watched Friends? Like just countless times?
yeah, like it's at the point where like I'll be watching the show and I can't watch it with anybody else because they probably get annoyed because I can just recite the lines with them. And like if you do the mental math, like I started in grade 10 watching it, and after it was done, after like a couple months, just put it on again. Up until like maybe just before Michael and I started dating, so like a few years ago. But that was, how many years is that? Like 4 or 5 years, just like going back and forth. And like I think I kind of alternated between that and Gilmore Girls, but yeah, to the point where I'm like reciting the lines and I know like a lot of the scenes. So it's probably not a healthy amount, but it's a good show. So
Which I would like to say that I then prepared my brother for marriage to you because that's funny to hear that up until you started dating, like you were watching it consistently, because I'm pretty sure that it was right before I left to go overseas that we were finishing the finale together. Like he had been watching it and I had kind of been watching it too. And that was kind of like I remember us kind of talking about it because we had never, I think at that point we had never watched it all the way through.
Right.
And so then at that point, right before you guys started dating, he also finished it while I was finishing it. So, you know, I prepared him for a life with you.
Yeah, perfect. yeah. And honestly, like I think because when we started dating, there are just so many other shows and movies that you kind of want to watch. And I'm not a big movie person, but he is. And so we just recently started going through movies and everything. But of course, when you like meet somebody, you want to kind of watch all of the new things together and like all the shows coming out.
Share all those things.
Yeah. We're big into reality shows. So that's kind of where we started and where we're going. But I have all the Friends DVDs. So eventually we'll get there. So
nice.
Yeah. So one of the things we want to talk about specifically with Friends is that there's a lot of relationships that happen within the span of the show, even within the main like 6 characters, right? Within that group, they date each other a bunch, right? That sounds weird, but yes. And so one of the first questions I want to ask, and kind of a theme of these questions, is what relationships maybe should not have happened? Like, what do you think just they should never have dated, never have been together? Let's start with Hannah. What do you think?
Okay, so I actually had 2 couples. The first one, and this is a little bit controversial because I know a lot of people really love them, was Joey and Rachel. And they were very brief, but like I personally did not like it. I think that the friendship was so good that it didn't need to be a relationship. It just kind of felt like they kept putting people together just because they needed new relationships.
Yeah.
And then the second one was Ross and Charlie. She was dating Joey for a little bit. And I'm such a big, like, if you were friends with somebody who's dating somebody, don't go and date that. Like, it's just so icky to me. And, like, even
It
if
gets complicated.
It gets so complicated. And I just, like, I don't know. Like, I think that I'm a big girls girl, but also when, even, like, guys, like, if somebody's dating somebody, like, I just thought it was weird. And so when they ended up dating, I was like, they might have been better together than her and Joey, but, like, the way that it went around was just so, I just was not a fan of it. So those are my 2 that are like, didn't need to happen.
You know what? That doesn't really surprise me because I feel like we're going to bring up Wicked a lot on this podcast. But after we went to go see Wicked for Good together, Hannah was like, I hate that. Piero. She was raging throughout that entire
like, that's something that I'm so passionate about is like just those dynamics where it's like the friends and then you kind of are trying to make it like not so bad, and it's like, no, that shouldn't be a thought in your mind. It shouldn't be like you can be honest and say like, hey, I kind of have feelings for you, but acting on it is a completely different thing, especially when you're doing stuff like shady stuff here and there. I just,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's, that actually, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I'm
so
very
interesting.
passionate about it.
That is a good connection too, because it doesn't surprise me then that some of those relationships are just like, no,
Yeah.
not worth it. Yeah.
Hey, Sarah, what about you?
Okay, well, I can already tell this is going to be an interesting conversation
Oh.
because I feel like are you ready for this? Mm-hmm. I know that your opinion is right. But but I honestly think that Rachel and Ross should never have been a thing. And the whole show is based around them. It's all about their on again, off again relationship. But I think after seeing it, the first time, I was totally rooting for them. And I'm like, yes, 100%. It's kind of like with Gilmore Girls, what we've talked about with Rory and Dean. And the first time through, you're just like, oh, Dean is so good. What the heck? Get out of here, Jess, right? But then you're just like, no. Afterwards, walking red flag. And to me, that's how I feel about Ross, is every single time that I've seen it since then, which I have watched it consistently since then, just throw it on. It's one of those things. And I just, Ross and Rachel have their issues, but Ross, what's he doing? Come on.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like their whole relationship, it just doesn't make sense. And I feel like they just should have stayed as friends or stayed as acquaintances even, just whatever, and just not gone there. So that's kind of the number one thing.
Okay, forgive me for asking this.
Yes.
But do they end up together at the end?
Yeah,
Ross and Rachel?
they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
After a lot of...
Well, and I will say, because I do agree, I don't think they should have ended up together. I think after their break and that whole... They were on a break. They should not have gotten back together. I think that it was important that they did in the beginning to kind of see, because I feel like if they didn't, people probably would have said, they should have tried, so you needed to kind of almost see them have this blow up to see it wouldn't work out. And so something that I always do, especially now with Michael, is we'll always talk about, would they still be together after the show, and that kind of stuff, and I do not think that they would be.
No.
I think that they needed to kind of be together, but I agree that it should have been done early on.
Their
but
personalities
I knew that they
their personalities are just so different. And I think you see that leading up to then the we're on a break, which is the classic episode. But I agree. I guess I could see where they needed to try it out as friends, especially because that friend group, there is a lot of flirtatious energy between Ross and Rachel for sure. And so they needed to kind of try it out. But I think once it's done, they should have just stayed done.
Yeah. So maybe it could have happened. It's okay that it happened, but they shouldn't have been endgame.
Yeah, I think his character development was just so it was almost after that point something switched in him.
Yeah.
And he was just scary. I was not a fan of his at all.
I think he was desperate.
He was. Yeah. But they had him go from such a he wanted her. He worked for and he tried to build up this whole thing, and but then as soon as the whole break thing happened, it was he just went downhill. And I think that his internal flaws honestly kind of started to bubble up, and those insecurities started to come up. And so I don't think that he liked that it was another girl leaving him for something that he felt could have been fixed, with him and Carol, or even though she was she ended up leaving him for a woman, but I think
a little bit different, but still,
but the same situation where it felt like he was helpless in a way, or he had no control in it, because it was he didn't understand from her side, because they had that back and forth of we were on a break, we weren't. In his mind, he's it was fine what I did, so not understand. And then it just kind of spiraled.
Yeah, his personality takes a shift, I think. And like what you said, the insecurities, that came out a lot. And I think that made it where every time they got back together, I think that's kind of why Rachel, it never worked out, because then I think Rachel was but you're not quite it's this isn't working, and it's not what she wanted anymore either. So that's where even at the end, even though they end up together, it's kind of just this is, I don't think that they would still be together even if they did try again. I think they would have ended up breaking up again.
Right.
Anyways.
It just didn't feel as powerful because there were so many times throughout the season where they were on again, they were off again, they were on it. And so you kind of knew that they were going to be on again, but it wasn't like they had been off for so long. Like, they had a kid together and they had, you know, like, there was no real, like, you wanted them back together because every time they were just butting heads and there was issue after issue. And so it's hard to be like, oh, yes, like, they worked so hard. They, you know, they changed their, like, they really tried to be there for each other and they, you know, worked on these things, but, like, they really didn't. It was almost just, like, convenient for them to be together because they tried other things and it was almost like a last, you know, resort for them. But, yeah, no, I agree with your...
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good. Maybe I am right.
I give you my seal of approval for this one, but we'll see.
This is actually really just a test to see if my opinions of Friends, if they work. Because I would say, like, I am a huge fan of the show, but I also started pretty late in the game of my life, I guess, of watching Friends. So
I also think I was just sad and there was nothing else that I watched. So I just had a lot of thoughts, like, built up. I don't really use it for anything else. But,
yeah, okay. So we agree. Ross and Rachel. So that's, because that's a huge thing. Like, that's the basis of the show. And I know so many people that just root for them hardcore all the way through. So...
Well, and even the one time that I have actually watched Friends, I have a friend who's very obsessed with Friends, loves it. And... I hated Ross. Like, I could not with Ross the whole time. And I can't remember if my friend's a Ross fan or not, but they were very much like, that's just kind of the journey you go on. Although most times people who watch for the first time do kind of root for him more. But right away I was like, no thanks, I don't need this.
Have you seen those people that talk about it and they say, like, if he, like, they had to make him siblings with Monica, otherwise nobody would have wanted to stay. And I fully believe they would not have wanted to remain friends with him. Like, they would have had to because of the show, but there's no way that you could hold a friendship with somebody like that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay, this actually flows really well into a thought that I had earlier today. Because when I was kind of, like, thinking about this episode and thinking through those things, I was kind of like one of the things that I think we were planning on talking about was, like, do we think this friendship would survive in real life? And this is one of those things where I'm like, Kate, where does Ross fit in? Because he doesn't really connect with Chandler and Joey. And he's the sibling of Monica, and then Monica's friends with the girls. And Ross is just kind of like... there.
He's so condescending every time he talks to everyone.
Yes. He's like, I'm smarter than all of you. I have my PhD. Like, whatever.
Yeah. And that was one of the hard questions for me to think about because I was like, which friendships do I, like, think wouldn't work or however it was worded? He was the one where I was like, whoever I pair him up with, it's going to be it's Ross and somebody else. Because there's no other pairing where it's just like
Ross.
It's literally just him. He's just such a red flag. And
he's just very insecure, but then that also comes across as, like, very condescending, and it's just rough throughout the show because you can see how all of the others fit together and how that group fits together. But he's kind of always the odd one out. But I guess, you know, maybe that's needed, but...
So we're not forming a Ross fan club anytime soon over here.
No. Yeah, I'm glad you said that because, he just doesn't fit.
No. He really doesn't.
Okay, so as much as we could probably talk about that forever.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Let's do a quick recap just before I ask this next question of who is endgame? Like, who do the main six all end up with?
Yeah.
If you could give us a recap quick.
Wisdom, wise leader.
So Monica and Chandler are together, and then Phoebe is with Mike.
Okay.
And Joey is single. He's Joey. And then Rachel and Ross are obviously together. Yeah.
So, in your guys' opinion, maybe we'll start with Sarah on this one. Who do you think they should have ended up with? Is there someone they date throughout the show that you think would have been a better fit? Like, if you had to pair the main six with anyone, who would you pair them with?
I think the only thing that I would only change one thing. I said this in the very intro episode to our podcast, that Monica and Chandler, they're my favorite. I love their relationship. Yeah. I wouldn't change that. And also, Phoebe and Mike. I loved Phoebe and Mike. Yeah. Like, they were so good together. And I loved when his character when he comes into the picture, too. So wouldn't change anything with them.
He's played by Paul Rudd, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Good old Paul Rudd.
Love him.
Love him.
Yeah.
Great actor. So, yes, I love that for Phoebe as well. Like, just, it's a great match.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that I would change, Ross get out of the picture, and I actually would want Joey and Rachel to be together.
Yes.
I was waiting for that reaction.
can't.
Okay, so you
No,
can't. Okay, so here's the thing though. Here's the thing. The first time watching it through, same thing where I thought that was like the weirdest couple combo. Joey and Rachel, and I was like, what the heck? Like, this doesn't work at all. This is so weird. But watching it like the third or fourth time through, it kind of grows on me. And I just feel like Joey is what Rachel kind of was needing in a way, and especially at that time too. But I would have loved to see them end up together. I think there's a world where they end up together.
And Ross would have just been
Ross
single.
is no longer, Ross is single. Ross is the Joey. Because also I always felt so bad for Joey at the end.
Yeah.
Because, and I think he makes even some comments where he's like, it's just me. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and that's so sad for him. And he is such a great character as much as he is like, you know, a little bit wild and out there. But I feel like him and Rachel, I feel like they could have been a good
Interesting.
couple.
Okay,
That's the only change I would make.
Hannah, what are your thoughts?
I understand people's like perspective on that, and like
But it's wrong. No.
So, anyways, next question.
Yeah.
I do understand the perspective of it, and I think that when that whole relationship was happening, like, he was treating her so well, and it wasn't, my issue wasn't like them two as a, I don't really know how to explain it. Like, I liked them, but it felt weird to me because when I look at all the characters, I kind of categorize them in like their own development and like the way that they kind of handle situations and just where their growth is at. And for him, I think because men kind of develop a little later in life than women do, like mentally it takes a while. And so I think for him,
You heard it here first, folks. No. Yeah.
but I think for him it took him a lot longer and later in life to kind of
Yeah.
figure out what he wants and where he wants to settle down and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
I think that because he was living with Rachel, you know, she had a kid and he saw like the vulnerable side in her. I think that he confused like genuine friendship love for being in love, because I think he seems like the kind of person where it's like he'll be loyal and he'll be like, yeah, love like all my friends and everything, but I think the friendship bond that they had and just living together, they grew so close. And I think that his brain started to develop a little bit more, and so he kind of was like he sees Monica and Chandler and he wants that. And so I think she was kind of the first person, and I do agree, I hated his ending. The fact that they're like, we'll get a Joey room, like, he's not 12, you know, like, I feel like they should have, with that character development that he was going through, there should have been another person come into the picture that kind of fit in it, because I feel like he had so much potential. And I did actually write down Kathy, I don't know if you remember her, she originally was with Joey, and then Chandler like loved her, and so he took Kathy. Remember, there was like the boat thing and all that stuff.
Right.
I think that if that hadn't happened, or if she came in later, I do think that there is potential for that, because the way that she was with Chandler, and maybe that was just who he was, and maybe their relationship was different, but I do think that somebody like her, similar to Rachel, but just not Rachel, because I loved their friendship. And I don't think you need to always ruin every single friendship to kind of get to that point.
Fair.
But, but honestly, I think that he needed somebody new, somebody that was like different, because I think he just wanted Rachel because it was like convenient and he saw it work out for others.
Yeah.
And again, honestly, just the fact that it was like Ross and Rachel and that whole tangled mess, and like, don't get mixed up in it. That's like, you know, it's just too much. So that's kind of where my high was at. Like, Joey ends up with Kathy or somebody else. Honestly, somebody else, because Kathy did go with Chandler, and you know how I feel about the friendship thing, but
Yeah.
and then I agree with you, Chandler and Monica, like endgame,
Yes,
love them.
always
Phoebe
Endgame.
and Mike,
Yeah.
loved them.
Yeah.
Rachel I put with, what was his name? Gavin. I don't know if you remember him.
Who was
I actually remember
who
him.
was Gavin?
He was in,
You're like, I remember something.
do you remember when it was at Ralph Lauren, I think? It was after she had the baby and she came back to work and he took over.
Yes.
And he was very, I liked
did.
them.
I did have that
I really,
written down.
yeah.
Yes.
And I
yes.
haven't seen the show in like a couple years, and so I did have to look it up, like why, like what happened between them, but they
Yeah.
never actually explained it. Like he just
No.
kind of drifted out, and so I
Yeah.
think they tried to focus the storyline on her and Ross.
They just tried to bring them together.
Yeah,
maybe.
but I really
Yeah.
liked that dynamic, and I think that he was good for her.
I do remember that.
He,
yes.
Yeah, he gave her
Yeah.
that strong, like, he was the better version of Ross, honestly. Like, he had those
Yeah.
traits, but, like,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
a, like, actual, like, manly way and not a toxic, like, trying to one-up you and trying
Right.
to, you know, because they had that humor and he had that, like, stability, and
Yeah.
I really thought that they should have been together, honestly, and then Ross can be single and I don't care. He can have, like, another
don't care.
4 wives and divorce
we
him.
know.
Who cares about Ross?
We know
Honestly,
our thoughts
if
on
you
Ross
can
now.
emancipate yourself from siblings, I think Monica should have done that
That was
like
so funny.
way sooner. But
Can you imagine?
oh yeah, no, I just
Yeah. It's like, it's hard because there's so many different like side relationships that come in that you're like, man, if this could have been like different place, different time, because all of the characters grow so much as well.
Yeah.
I do agree that like Joey does hit that point at this point where Rachel's living with him with the babies and all of that. And he's like, oh, this is what a serious relationship looks like. And I do think that is true, where it's like, okay, this is maybe the first time that he's really thinking about that. But
right. I
Yeah.
think if it was meant to be, it would have happened earlier on.
Yeah.
I know that like it's just a show and like you know it's not real life, but like I do think that if it were to happen, then it should have been earlier on, and then it would have felt more genuine and not just he's going through a time in his life where he wants to settle down and she's just there for convenience. That's how I saw it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm very open to other opinions.
But if they met,
They will
let me know. Let me know. I'll
Okay,
block
but-
you.
but like, let's just picture this: like they meet maybe like 5-10 years down the road. Rachel's single. Ross is completely out of the picture. Don't even, worry about good old Ross there. But like, yeah, if they were to meet 5 or 10 years in the future and Joey was still like mature and serious about a relationship, do you think it could have worked or no?
I don't think so, only because I think that he deserves better. And I think that he deserves somebody that matches his energy more
Than
and
Rachel.
like pushes him to be, like
Yeah.
Rachel's character, if she ended up with someone like Gavin, where he really did seem to push her in a better way,
Yeah.
not like a tearing her down kind of thing, but like
Yeah.
you need somebody that's gonna always be,
Your
not
match.
competing against you, but somebody who's always gonna be like,
Yeah.
well, what do you need to do to, like, even if that's a joking way of, like, I don't know, just basically pushing you to be better. And I think that their friendship was, they relied on each other and they leaned on each other. But with that, it's like you're not growing, you're kind of just
Supporting where you're at.
Yeah, you're supporting where you're at.
Yeah.
And I think that even with his growth, I just don't think that, I think he deserves better than Rachel. I don't think that it's the other way around, where, like, she deserves somebody to, obviously she deserves somebody to, be there for her, but if she wants Ross after everything that
oh my
happens,
goodness.
like, there's no way that you could go and be like, oh, Joey, after all these years,
Yeah.
but, like, that back and forth.
Yeah.
I think that, I don't think her and Ross stayed together after the show, and if they did, it would
Yeah.
still be the same back and forth, but now with a child.
Yeah.
So
which
I
is
just
so much more complicated.
Which, yeah, exactly. And I don't think that Joey needed that in his
No,
life.
yeah.
So that was my thought.
Yeah. Okay. So another question that I have, and we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but do you guys actually think it's realistic that this group remained friends? Like, after everything that they went through, at what point do you think they would have, in real life, kind of started
Yeah.
to fizzle out and not talk to each other anymore? Because I don't know if it's realistic that these people remain friends, to be honest.
Yeah.
Even though that's, the name of the show.
Yeah.
So...
Well, and I think I think this is something that a lot of people I see talking on social media. So maybe this is a good place to kind of talk about that, is like, it is this trending thing that we have these TV shows like New Girl and Friends that, and like Seinfeld even, like, you know, those shows that are giving us this big group of friends vibes.
Yeah.
And people sometimes kind of take that as like, oh, that's what my life should look like. And I know so many people in my life too that are like looking for that and seeking that because that's what was shown to us.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of trending comments even from like different psychologists and stuff that you know, show up on news feeds that people are reposting or sharing, where it's like, that's not real life. Like, real life continues on, and you have different friends for different seasons. And maybe those friendships will stay throughout different seasons, but I think that like illusion of having this big giant friend group, it's a really nice idea.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in some contexts, maybe it does work, but I feel like a lot of people move and jobs change and priorities change and all of these things are shifting. And I think it happens a lot faster than it does in the show. So then I would see that like in the show, maybe, they're friends for a few seasons, but Monica and Chandler get together faster. Right? Like, I think things happen a little bit faster that then cause the friendship group to kind of drift apart, if that makes sense. But this is a huge topic right now on social media of like why we're having this loneliness epidemic or whatever is because of what these friendship shows have shown us. So, I don't know. What do you think, Hannah?
I honestly, I agree. Like, I think that with, like, real life, like, that just doesn't happen. And I think that the way that they wrote the characters, you kind of, like, they are tangled in together. So it, like, it makes sense that they do. Like, I don't think that there was ever a time where I was like, it didn't make sense for them to, because they were roommates and then they were across the hall and that's a brother. And Phoebe's character, like, she's just, because I've seen a lot of people be like, if anything, she wouldn't realistically still be a part of the friend group because she doesn't have a connection. But I think her character being so stubborn, being so where she grew up with like a lot of
She's very
loss,
extroverted too.
Yes, I think that it 100% makes sense that she continued to, you know, be close with them. But I think that the way that they wrote it, it does make sense that they stayed friends. But I think realistically it doesn't happen. Like, we don't see that happening.
No.
And I also think with the show, the way that it ended, that was definitely them. Like, there's obviously they're not remaining close after that. And like, I can see them, like, even the whole like Joey moving in with them thing, like, I think that would be distance for sure. And like, maybe it would be one of those things where you call them every once in a while, or like write happy birthday on Facebook or something like that. But I think that they wrote it in a good way where like it does make sense, but it's not very realistic that they stayed friends.
And I appreciated that too, because even for me, like, that's exactly what has happened as friend groups have, you know, you get older and you change in different seasons. And I think unless you're like, living next door to each other, but like sometimes you just get caught up in life, especially with kids, and that's not a bad thing. But I think you just get in these different seasons where, like, you know, with babies, it's a lot easier to like still make those things happen, but then as kids get older and into sports and into school things, like, life just changes and family becomes that priority. And that's just kind of how our culture, what it revolves around, right? And so the show did give that really realistic point of view of eventually things are going to come to an end and you have to make friends in the season that you're in. And so Monica and Chandler, like, they're going through their own thing. They have to make their friends. Ross and Rachel, you know, hopefully whatever. But anyways, but you know, you kind of have to look at it as like, okay, this was a really good season and we can still keep in touch, but maybe not in the same way.
Right. Yeah, I agree for sure. And I think that when you date everybody in your friend group, it's also it's hit or miss.
Yes.
Either you never want to see them or like you want to date their sibling. I don't know. It's like one of those. Yeah, I think with the amount of relationships that they had in it, they were stuck with each other, whether they liked it or not. But it seemed to work, and
Yeah, I don't think you could convince me that Rachel would stay friends with Ross or Joey after dating both of them. Like, and then everyone's still okay with them being around each other. I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, like, even just the way that Rachel came into the show, like, Monica wasn't even invited to her wedding.
Yeah.
So I think, like, even her hitting rock bottom, I do think that if at some point, and I love her character, but if she had met somebody like Barry with, like, the money and with, like, the, especially in the earlier seasons, maybe not so much the later seasons when she grew, but, like, she would have left. Like, she wouldn't have stayed, but because she had to stay, it was... But I think, obviously, she grew, and, like, I don't think in the later seasons she would have left as easily. But, yeah, in real life, like, it would have, you know, if she was already gonna cut them off and, like, marry somebody because of their money, what's to stop her from doing it again? Because she's already older and she's already got her mindset made up. But, yeah, her hitting rock bottom was,
It's interesting even how the show starts and how those two, that friendship Monica and Rachel have. It's like, I feel like Rachel is very much a taker. Like, she's just one of those people that's like taking what she can get from the friendships and not really willing to give a lot to it. And you do see some growth in that, but it's interesting. Like, if that never have happened, like, would have happened, I'm just curious how the friend group would have, what it would have looked like. But it made for a good TV show, though.
And it's a very well-loved TV show, too.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so next question. Do you have any, we've kind of talked about them already, but any Friends hot takes? Something that you'd be like, I don't like this, and it's generally well-liked. Like, what are your hot takes? Let's start with Hannah.
Well, I have a few. There's just a couple. Page after page. Okay, obviously, this isn't necessarily a hot take, but, like, they wrecked Joey's character completely. I don't even need to touch on that because we talked about it before, but they dumbed him down from the first, like, couple of seasons. Like, he was not like that at all. Okay, and then the whole were they or weren't they on a break? They were on a break, but it doesn't make it right what he did at all. And I think that the issue with that is that everybody always looks at shows as black and white. So, like, if they were on a break, it's fine. Like, he did, or they weren't on a break, so he shouldn't have done. Like, they were on a break. They talked about it, whatever. But he should not have done that. Like, you weren't broken up. Like, it was in a fight, and there's so many things to it, but my opinion is, like, they were on a break. He should not have done that. It's, like, technically, like, I don't know. I haven't seen the exact scene to know word for word what they said. But the way that it was ended was, like, we need space, we need a break. Not necessarily a break up, but they were on a break, but that doesn't mean go to the club, get drunk,
exactly,
and then go sleep with some. Like, it's not black and white. It's like black and white with, like, do not do that, especially if you're, you know, but
because of how quickly it happened. It's like, okay, if it had been a week of ghosting each other or whatever, it was the same day. And it's like he chose.
Sorry, I forgot that.
It is the same day.
It was like hours later.
It was hours later, right? That he went to the club and then he meets this girl, decides to hook up with her, and then Rachel calls him the next day and is like, "I'm sorry, let's talk." And it's like, Kate, huge red flag for Ross. Like, why? Why the heck did that need to happen? And I agree. It's like, yes, you were on a break, but the same day? The same day? Man, come on. Like, of course I'm Team Rachel on that.
Yeah, well, I think I'm on the side of, like, if we're going based off of why people are saying they were on a break, they weren't on a break, if you're going based off of that, they weren't on a break, he should not have done that. But in technical terms, like, space-wise or, like, all that kind of stuff, like, they were not together. But it was also in a fight, so, like, to take that as, like, we're broken up, like, that's it, to not even, like, think. And I think that's something that always frustrated me, is that the characters were never, like, real with each other. Like, Joey and Chandler, and I know that their characters are supposed to be, like, that funny, you know, comic relief or comedic relief, but, like, to not just take him home and be like, like take
Yeah.
the night,
Yeah.
sleep on it, like
Think
you
about
know,
it. Yeah.
it should not. And I think that that's where they really ruined Ross's character, because him wanting Rachel in the beginning and all that he did for him to go and do that was kind of like a like
I know,
what? And
I
I know
know.
that they did that
It
for the
doesn't make
show,
sense.
but it just
Yeah.
that to me was like, oh,
Yeah.
I was not a fan of that.
Yeah. Kate, remind me again, what are the ages of these characters again? I forget what people say the ages are.
I think so. Ross
say
was
20?
the oldest. I think he was 29 or 30, somewhere around that age in the first season.
Okay.
Then the others are like 26, 27, and Rachel's supposed to be the youngest. Like
Right.
25. But I think they're all like,
They're all pretty close.
Yeah.
Like between 25 and 30. Ross, what the heck are you doing at 30? Almost 30.
it's so embarrassing. Like, he's such
Yeah.
a man-child. Like, I think him and Joey just, like, swapped
Yes.
brains, like, halfway
Yes.
through.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't understand.
I know.
I do understand where they went wrong with him, but, like,
Yeah.
oh, man, I just
Yeah.
would never want to meet him in real life. If
No.
that was a reality show,
Yeah.
like, I would block him on Instagram.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't
Yes.
know me, like, no, I can't with that, but...
He's the type of guy that Sabrina Carpenter wrote that.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
Nash.
I think he actually might be. Yeah, it's one of those
Ross was
things
the
where,
inspiration.
yeah, and I actually saw a video today where somebody was like collecting those like McDonald's toys, and they're like trying to get all 6 of the Friends characters, and they're like, if it's Ross, just throw it out. And I'm like, that's literally so true. Like, if it's Ross, just throw it out.
Oh,
Like,
man.
it's
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good hot take. What's your other hot take?
I don't think I have any written down, but
I don't.
if you have any,
I don't have any hot takes except for Joey and Rachel.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is a pretty hot
That is a
take.
pretty hot take. Yeah, that was. But it,
yeah.
that was my hot take.
I think we've like touched on a lot of them too, like the
Yeah.
whole like being like dating who your friends were
Yeah,
with, and like
yeah, like that's
that kind of stuff is
Yeah.
like. Yeah, and like him being condescending. All my hot takes are on Ross, but I don't even think they're hot takes because nobody likes him anyways.
Well, and
so.
I was gonna say, I don't think I need to ask who your least favorite characters are because I think that's pretty.
I think it's pretty
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
Not Ross
So
fans
Monica.
over
Oh
here.
man, I have to say though, oh my goodness, what's her name is now out of my mind. The one that Chandler's dating at the very beginning of the season. What's her
Janice?
name? Yes. I was like, wait. Yes. So Janice, I really don't like her, and I don't like that she keeps coming back. But I understand why
Yeah.
they make like as a character and like in the show, it is funny. But
Maybe that's my hot
I
take because
don't
I
like
think
her.
they were. There was the one. I think it was the last time her and Chandler dated.
yeah,
Where he was like really into her, and I don't know if it was like them trying to write it from his perspective, but I actually did like them together for a little bit. Not that I wanted them to be endgame, but like, and I think that they like shows do that a lot, where they like change how the character is to make it seem like they're better. But like her
Yes.
character definitely did not fall in the same line as when she was in the beginning, like
No.
very annoying.
Yes.
very, like
I
but
think they like toned it down a
I
little
think
bit
so.
as it went.
yeah.
As
Yeah.
it went on. So then it was a little bit more bearable, but I just found her annoying as many people did. But it was funny. Like it was
Yeah.
still entertaining. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting that he just always kept going back to her.
Yeah.
Like just again and again.
Yeah, that was his Rachel.
Yeah,
he was the Ross
exactly.
and she was Rachel.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I honestly, I don't think I have to ask who the top red flag character was either because I think that's pretty obvious as well.
Basically, this episode can be titled "Ross Sucks." No,
Yeah, anti-Ross.
the anti-Ross
Yeah.
Funko. Which, I didn't expect because I do. There's moments that he is funny. Like I appreciate his character in some ways, but for the most part, I don't like him.
Yeah.
What did you think about him and Emily? Because a lot
Yeah.
of people hate Emily. I never hated her though.
I didn't. I
I
actually liked
understood
her.
her perspective
Yeah.
100%.
I liked her, and I thought she deserved better.
100%. And everybody's saying it's unrealistic that she wants him to cut off a friend. Are you kidding
No,
me?
it's like that is not it. Like
Not at all.
Why are we taking a man's side? Like, there's
it's ridiculous because she knew right away. This is actually the exact same thing as people we met on vacation.
Yeah.
Because her name's Sarah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sarah and Alex are together, and she can tell right away that this friendship is more. And I feel like that was what Emily was like as well, where she's just like, I know this is more. There's something else going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, of course, if she's getting married to him, she's like, it's not, I don't think that she ever said, this can't be a friendship. I think it was like, things need to change.
Yeah.
At least give her a couple months.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
it was like
Yes.
almost immediately after he called her Rachel.
Yes.
And then she's like, I want to break that. He's like, how can I get you back here? And she's like, well, like, you can't be friends with her. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that's my life. Like,
Yeah.
that's the love of my life. What do you mean? And it's like,
yeah.
she was not being unrealistic with that expectation. Like, there's no way any girl would ever be comfortable with that. There's no way.
No. And I think sometimes people think that means that husbands can't talk to any other woman.
Yeah, no,
and that's not what it
not what it
is.
means. Yeah.
It means that the friendship has to change.
Yeah.
Because, yes, of course, as people, you're going to make friends.
Yeah.
But the root of the friendship and
Yeah.
what you guys are connected around,
Yes.
that is what becomes the issue.
And
Yeah.
why is it so important to keep
Yes.
this friendship?
Yes.
Yeah.
After everything that
exactly.
you've been through with her, after calling her name out during our wedding,
Yes.
like you being shocked.
Which is also just a huge red flag.
If I heard my man hesitate on the phone when I say drop her, and he's like, oh.
yeah.
Like
Exactly.
I'll drop you instead.
Yeah, like literally, I would fly over there just to hit him and then to leave again. Like, there's no way I would ever let that happen. I just, that just frustrated me so much. And honestly, I think he should not have. Him being endgame with anyone is just out of the picture. But he was good with her and Julie when he went on that trip, and then he came back with Julie, and that was when Rachel was going to confess her feelings. And I liked Julie as well, and I think that he needed somebody that wasn't so, but I think he would just ruin any girl that he's with. I think that he was worse than
think
Joey.
so. Yeah.
Like, at least with Joey, you kind of knew, you expected it, but he always put on this persona, and then as soon as he felt something wasn't the way he thought it should be,
it
was
he
like,
needed so much affirmation that you just can't trust the relationship.
Yeah.
yes, yeah, and I can understand not his side, but like I can understand like why he might be that way given his experiences in the past
From his first marriage.
yeah, but like you had your parents that loved you. Can you not just like that can't be enough?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think it's just that he didn't do the work to actually heal from that.
Yes.
Like, I think that's the main problem. is
nobody
that
held him accountable for
Nobody,
it.
yes, exactly. Nobody held him accountable for actually healing from that. Okay, yes. So your marriage has now fallen apart and you didn't expect it. I think that was the thing.
Yeah.
He didn't expect it, and he kind of, I think for him it's like a little bit of embarrassment and a little bit of like, oh no, like this happened and it's over, which it happens. And it's like, you need to move on, you need to heal. And I don't think he had anybody holding him accountable to doing that, let alone wanted to do that, really. So then that just kept going into all of his other relationships.
Yeah. And I wonder what would have changed if one of the other characters might have just been like, hey, you need to
Go to therapy.
fix yourself.
Yeah.
Because clearly there was a lot of like
Yes.
not great behavior that
Right.
he exhibited.
Right. Or if one of the other girls had come up before Rachel had, if that would have changed anything, because it was almost like he's going through this divorce, and then the love of his life walks in the door, and he's like, maybe this was meant to be, and everybody's like, as soon as he walked in, hi.
Yeah, I know.
Really? Just, why? You're a grown man. Like, that's so embarrassing. But like, I think it is
Talking
so,
about secondhand embarrassment.
gosh, no. I like literally. I felt like if I was his sister, I would question it.
Yes,
I would question
yes.
if we were siblings.
Maybe that's another strange thing too, is that like Monica's his sister and she
Yeah.
never even says anything.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
dating one of her friends too, right? So like that's a
Yeah.
weird dynamic in and of
Yeah,
itself.
for sure. And I think when you have parents like the ones that they had, nobody was ever holding him accountable for
No.
anything.
Yeah.
They're
And
not
like
talking about that stuff.
Yeah,
they
and
didn't
Rachel-
grow up talking about.
Yeah. Rachel wasn't the kind of person to hold him accountable because in her relationships, like Barry, he was the moneymaker. He was very, like, her life was set for her. So there was no need for her to hold anybody accountable. I think that could even come from, like, the fear of them leaving again. And I think that's both what they had, like, those insecurities and the fears. And so to have each other, I think that they, in a way, bonded over that without even realizing it. But, again, I think a large part of it is also it made sense for them to be together. So they tried to make it work. But it just...
was never going to.
No.
Especially at the place he was at.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needed to do a lot of work on himself in order to make any relationship work, probably.
Yeah.
He still does.
Yeah. So
he's out there right now. He still does. He needs to do
what I'm
that.
gathering is we just need to get a big red flag with Ross's face on it, and that'll be our new, like, standard. Like, this is the red flag.
Yeah.
You know
that we
what's...
will wave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every time I think of him right now, I always think of that one scene where he's in the leather pants and his hair went through a season where it was weird, and, like, just the way that he's so stressed out about it, and, like, that's just the energy he always gives off. I don't know why
He's
that
just
thought
always-
is, like, in my mind, but, like, him just, like, panicking and, like, the stress of it.
I'm in Elizabeth's bathroom.
Nice.
No, I got really hot in my leather pants, so I took them off, but they must have shrunk from the sweat or something, or my legs expanded from the heat. But I can't get them back on, Joey. I can't.
He's such a hot mess.
He is, yes.
Yeah.
Man-child, hot mess. Oh, man.
my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, like, I love the show. I think every episode is so funny, and there's so many great moments that happen. It's a show that I can just, like, put on and just let it run, right? Like, it's homey, I guess.
Yeah.
But there's so many characters that have red flags and things in it, and it's interesting what the writers did, and but it was so popular and still is. There's so many people, like, there's so many new generations as well that are enjoying it, and it's always making a comeback.
Yeah, it's kind of like Gilmore Girls in that way. Like,
It
I feel
is.
like every new generation picks it up, and they're like, "Oh, I love this."
Yeah.
It's just one of those shows that people can connect to really well.
Yeah.
And it does feel homey. Like, you revisit those characters, and it just feels like you're friends with them
Right,
too,
yeah.
probably in a way, right?
Yeah, you're catching up with them. Yeah.
Well, that might be a good place to kind of wrap
it
up our
up.
conversation here. Do you guys have any closing thoughts? Anything you want to add?
Ross, if you're watching this,
Do better.
do better. My people will talk to your people. We'll set up a little boxing ring. We'll do a little thing, but
Boxing ring.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
No, I think there was a lot of good thoughts. We actually didn't differ too much on thoughts,
No.
except for my, crazy hot take, but
yeah. I mean, I'm actually pretty easygoing, so. I mean,
Yeah.
Yes.
You come off like really strong, and then you're like, wait, no, I'm actually kind of chill.
no, I am pretty,
But just a fair warning, Hannah will be watching the comments, so just be
Yes.
careful what you comment on.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And again, if you disagree, you're wrong.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even have to say anything.
Yeah.
Just block.
Just immediately blocked.
I'll just make like a. No, I won't say. I won't go
A
there.
counter account.
That's for next time. Yeah. Counter account. Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, Hannah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I loved having you here.
It was
and
really fun.
We'll have to have you on again.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be great.
Yeah. Okay. And before we close, we have to talk about our faves of the week.
Yes, our
So,
faves of the week.
Sarah, why don't you go first?
Oh my
What's
goodness,
your
I
fave of
have
the
a
week?
really good fave of the week, you guys. Okay, so Bridgerton it was last week, I guess.
Yeah.
But it feels like so long ago. I was trying to remember. I was like, wait, when did it come out? It was only last week.
Yeah. And when this releases, it'll been like a while ago. But
yes, but for us right now,
Yeah.
it's been last week. So, anyways, the memes, you guys, the Instagram memes that are coming, I keep sending them to you.
Yeah.
Have you seen the latest season of
No,
Bridgerton?
I have to watch Bridgerton. You guys actually convinced
Okay.
me when I was listening to it. I was like, I have to watch Bridgerton.
Yes, you do.
So I'll have to start
Okay,
it and
okay.
then-
Yes, because I've been sending you so many memes.
Yeah.
I am dying. Like, the memes about
So
Benedict,
funny.
I won't give any spoilers yet because I'll let you guys watch it. I think we're going to have an episode about it.
Yeah.
Because I am just dying. These
They're
memes
really
memes
good.
are so good.
Yeah.
They're hilarious.
Yeah.
So anyways, that has been my favorite thing this week is
Yeah.
Benedict memes.
Yeah. Hey, Hannah, what's your fave of the week?
Well, Michael and I are actually on like a early 2000s movie spree. Like we've been watching all of them.
Yes.
So last night we just watched Legally Blonde.
Nice.
And then we've also done like Clueless, Mean Girls. So it's kind of hard to pick like a favorite of those right now. But I think the next one that we're gonna watch is White Chicks.
Oh,
So
yes.
I think that one will be mine for now because that one's a classic. That one's
so good.
really, really good.
Yeah.
It's such a good movie. So
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we'll go with that one.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. What's your fave of the week?
I'm actually just gonna say the first part of Bridgerton season 4
Yeah.
is my fave of the week.
Yeah.
And it was funny because we were watching it and you were texting me. We ended up being kind of at the same
Yes.
point, and you're like, I hate the Cinderella
I
vibe.
know.
And I was sitting there like, I love the Cinderella vibe. But honestly, okay, like Cinderella's story is one of just my favorites. Like I can
Yeah.
watch any variation of it,
Yeah.
and just love it. So like Ever After,
Yes.
love
Yeah.
that movie.
Yeah.
Ella Enchanted, which is kind of like a similar vibes. Love that movie.
Yeah.
The Cinderella live action. Love that movie.
wow.
Yeah. So the live action
Yes.
Cinderella, I love
Yes.
that. Basically, like anytime there's a Cinderella story with Hilary Duff, like
See, I love all those.
yeah.
But now I'm done. No more Cinderella.
Wrap it up.
But I will say it's been really good.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
It
And
was it got better.
it encouraged me to rewatch it,
Yeah.
like the whole show again, because I was like, man, I've forgotten so much about it. But I'm loving the chemistry between the two of them.
Yeah.
I was kind of nervous about
I
that,
know.
not for any reason other than just like it's really hit or miss. Like
Yeah.
you either it's really good and you
Yeah.
can feel the chemistry between them or you can't. So I was really nervous about it, but I'm
It's-
really enjoying it. And
it
the,
was
like,
really good.
Seriously, her like yearning
Yes.
for him through the doorway.
I know.
My heart was like
I think we're gonna have to squeeze it into season
Yes, I
1
think
somehow. We've already planned season 1, but somehow we're gonna have to
I think we
squeeze
can
that
make
in.
room.
I think we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is needed. Because
Yeah.
especially after part 2 releases, we'll
Yeah.
want to talk about it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Those are good faves of the week. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a wrap for this week.
Wrap. Thanks again, Hannah.
Thanks.
Yes,
having me.
thank you so much for
Really fun.
coming. Yes, and Starbucks if you're out there. We love ya. Okay, bye.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to this episode.
Please like, share, and subscribe, and feel free to leave us a review.
Share your comments on today's episode.
And join us next time for another episode of Banquette Breakdown.